Hello there, welcome back to Najd. Last time we did some growing on Mingspot, and we'll probably keep on doing that same thing. The cores are basically, well, most of the lands that I want in Asia, and it should bring me pretty high up. We're on 1571, and as such we should potentially start focusing a little bit more on Europe itself. That could potentially be a little bit tough, especially considering that most of my forces are in Asia. But once I grow a little bit more, that won't actually be a problem. And with my treasury, I can potentially just go rather high over force limits. The only problem here is, as you can see here, my finances aren't exactly great. So that's that. Also, Swahili needs some attacking here with, well, I have a lot of things that I want there. So I will be, I think, building this army to probably up to about 15,000 men. I'll be using that as my at-home army, and we'll see how that turns out. But other than that, we'll most likely be continuing our efforts over in Ming, and we'll see how things turn out in the end. But hopefully, I can support that army as well. It's a little bit ambitious with the current number, but hopefully it will be fine. We do have the money, and apparently I need to send some of these guys home for exile treatment, as it's called. So we'll see how this in the end ends up. Shun has always been a target, and we'll be declaring another war against them. In this case, we will most likely be aiming to take most of these inlands, and hopefully also these three here. So with that, I'll be splitting these guys up for sieging purposes, and I think I'll be using the other armies for, well, I have no idea, we'll see. But for now, attack and destroy this one, and then we'll get full commencing of sieges wherever I desire. We'll see how it goes. Also forgot to pick a new mission, my apologies. I can't conquer what? Lagavat? Is that a Dalai province? No. Well, then we'll go to the 5th province. Lag, but probably no Algiers one. It's actually a tempting thing to do, because by forcefully vassalizing Algiers, I'll be able to get some things a little bit more done here. Also, I'll be able to get to Castile faster. So all in all, going after Algiers is probably a good thing, and potentially I could also take this then from Morocco, and most likely take the Moroccan provinces as well and hand it over to them. So that is also something I can do by doing that. But for now, we'll be focusing on the Shun War, and then we'll go after Algiers afterwards, I think. But Swahili is probably higher on the list as well. A lot of targets, but very little time, so we'll see how that turns out. Of course, Karakonlu has made himself into target here, Basra, Karbala. But it's also a very risky thing to do, because, as you might imagine, going after... Wait a minute. Yeah, what I can do here is simply take one province and then make Iraq my vassal. Fight for Iraq, have them, keep them as a vassal for the Ottomans, or the sake of keeping the Ottomans away, I guess. And also then, hopefully start messing up a little bit with Persia here. I still need Khorasan to lose a war so I can put... Well, hey, I'm really not functioning today, so I can peacefully vassalize them. But for now, as I said, Shun, Algiers and Swahili are a little bit more, what should I say, important targets. So we'll see how this works out. Time for upgrade of admin tech. In this case we will be getting Spy Agency and Canning House. Once again, I probably did not think that one true, since we will be attacking Swahili pretty soon. Also have moved now 24,000 troops, which are on their way to Algiers. The only problem is the alliance with the Ottomans. So we'll potentially attack them if they lose that. So for now, we'll put these guys, I think, in close proximity to Karakonlu, and we'll be attacking them instead. Malva here is, of course, also a target that we could think, because they have provinces that are Mewars, as well as we also intended to, or I intend to go up a war against Bamanis here, and basically just annex them and release them as a vassal, because as you can see from this, they do have quite a lot of cores, 5 actually, and also they do have a lot of claims, so I can actually annex, for example, this country here, and then hand most of it over to Bamanis, and that should work out just fine on my advantage as well. As you can see, they don't actually have that many allies, so declaring war on them is probably a pretty wise or smart move. also tempted to take these guys out, just fabricate a claim, and then annex them myself. If I end up in a war with Bamanis, that could potentially be a good thing. Dela here is actually in an alliance with me, so I won't actually get that much anger, so I'll probably keep Mebar around for a while. But until, or mostly until the Magyar is dealt with. So with that in mind, I think I'll actually be moving these guys back. So yeah, a lot of moving here for no good reason, and hopefully it'll pay off. So we'll see how that turns out. When it comes to the Shun War, it's almost won. The problem here is that they, well, got some more patriots that I have to deal with, but other than that, everything is under siege, and it's basically just a matter of time right now. So we'll see how it goes. Also, the peace deal is basically set up. I simply need to get a diplomat to get it all over with, so to speak. So we'll fight them, and we'll see how it goes. I guess the war is basically done, so for now we'll be making peace with these guys. I'll have to deal with these rebels nonetheless. As you can see here, the deals are, well, a little bit interesting. They have changed for some reason. Why did they change? What is it that I have lost? It was 99%. It's probably a peace agreement or something, but even so, it doesn't really matter. As you can see here, I'll give Ming 4 promises. Basically grow the border. We'll probably try and take at least 3 or 4 here next time. I'll basically just have to keep going like this until it's done. But this is basically a way that I will gain a lot of land without suffering any negative sides. And of course, I forgot the exile function, which screwed me over once again. And apparently, these guys are as confused as I am about why can't I go home. So yeah, ships leaving now, and yeah, I should potentially go ahead and annex these guys, or at least try, because as things are now, I don't think they'll be too much help. But they do have a lot of. They actually have 4 provinces I can take. Wow, that is more than I thought. So I guess you could say let the games begin. Wow. Did they have 4? Did I just see that wrong? No, they actually have 4. I only saw the core symbol wrong. But yeah, I have no idea why I'm making that much gold. Or money in this case. Have I broken the game or something? I am far above my force limits here. I don't have that many vassals. Ming, or am I making a lot of money from Ming perhaps? I'm not making that much. Huh. Well, positives, I can make another army. And on the positive side, I'll probably do it. But for now, we'll be waiting for that diplomat guy to get home. And then we will be declaring war on Bamanis. And probably try to vassalize them. And, well, I integrated Tripoli at least, so that's good. You have troops in foreign territory. So, there was some Tripolian troops here that was stuck, it seems. And I'll just disband that navy. I'll keep this one. I'm confused. I'll keep the light ships for the purpose of protecting trade in not Constantinople, but Alexandria, I think. I'll also keep these guys around for, well, I know, purposes. And I'll also be declaring war on Swahili now, take basically everything I can here, can't I? Have I lost the claim to Mombasa? Seems so. Or will I be losing, when will I be losing these claims? 90? Well, I will fabricate a claim on the closest province then, for God's sakes. I'm stupid. There we go. Once that's done, we will be declaring war, have 15,000 men ready to march over the borders. These guys will deal with Bamanis and Ahmed Nagar, and then we will be, I think, trying to go after Najd. As long as these guys have a deal with them, I'm a little bit unsure, but even so, it should be just fine. I could always, as you know, release these guys as a vassal again. I probably will, annex and vassalize, or simply straight out vassalize. Different religion modifier, war modifiers, and all that could screw me over, but I think it should be fine. And I think I'll actually do the same thing with Bamanis here. So we'll see how this in the end plays out. But for now, we'll have to wait another 20 days before we can get our diplomats back, and that's basically the only thing that pisses me off here. That you can't actually get your diplomats at a fixed rate. Even so, it's a good enough mechanic. That's not the problem here. The problem is that it takes forever for me to be able to do anything, because either my my diplomats are on this other side of the world, or I'm basically just putting myself into trouble. So for now, it's a little bit annoying, but it's not something that is really screwing with my experience. It makes a little bit more sense that you had to actually send diplomats around and have them report on what's happening, making deals and all that. So it's not that far-fetched in my... It's probably a better system I had in year 3, but sometimes, like when you have a fair or very long range, wide, far away fights, it turns out to be a little bit more of a nuisance than a fun new mechanic. But for now, I'll be sending these guys home, and we'll be declaring war on Shao, I think, pretty soon. So hopefully we can make this work in one way or another. These guys are still confused. I'm pretty sure that they are, even though they are Han Patriots, they can't actually march into Han or Shan territory and get released that way. So that's a little bit of a surprise. But well, it's always fun with surprises. Also, Qing deal I think is it's soon to end, so we'll probably declare war on them as well. But for now, I'll deal with Bamanis and Jaisalmer. These guys will probably be annexed, and we'll see how it turns out. While that guy of mine is actually fabricating a claim, we'll do this. We'll start the war already, and I think that should work out also to my advantage. So hopefully we can get this done. Also, further south, I guess I'll end up with somewhat of a bigger chance, I guess, of being able to run into the colonists that Castile and everyone else sends out, and thus help myself on upping my chances of getting well, westernization done soon, because I should really start focusing on getting the westernization out of the way. I'll probably also fight the Mamluks pretty soon to try and get something done there. But for now, there are, well, too many battlefields for me to fight on to actually allow me with my, or how I guess you say, with my playstyle to actually keep track of them all. But it should be fairly easy down here in Asia, simply because of the fact that they have weaker tech than mine, so I can basically fight with less troops. But even so, it's a little bit of annoyance. I think Ming is, they're actually Sun is stale, which is good. So we are at least winning the war against Bamanis here. And as I said, I will be annexing Jaisalmer. I have created myself a claim on it, and I'll probably just go straight out vassalization on these guys. And the same with Ahmednark. These guys, it's easier that way, these guys. And hopefully that'll help out here. In this war, I'll be aiming to take all the 4 provinces that I'm currently sieging, or if I can, Kilba as well. Simply because of the fact that that'll allow me to start fabricating claims on... Well, I can't actually start fabricating claims on Mozambique. I'll have to take this one without permission, so to speak. I'll probably take both of these then. Hopefully Castile won't be close enough for them to actually start hating on me. That would actually be quite bad. And hopefully I can also start the vassalization then. Not the vassalization, the westernization, to make sure that they'll actually not have too much of an advantage over me. But for now, I'll just get done with these wars, and we'll see what we'll do. Bengal and Vainagyar just entered a military coalition against me thanks to my annexation of Jaisalmer and the vassalization of Bahamis. And as you can see here, they actually do hate me pretty badly for that. But by the time I can actually go ahead and annex them, that'll have well sorted itself out pretty much. But even so, what we will be doing here is sending a new guy to, or the new guy to improve relations. We actually got a new guy, or a new sultan in this case, which is a 462. That is pretty damn good, considering he's twice as good as your average Republic guy. Yes, I will be comparing them to Republic guys, because usually in the other games they were the beasts, so to speak. So that's a little bit fun. Also, this guy ain't really that good. He lacks in the admin department, but he's still not bad. Still better than a Republic guy, so that should work out just fine. With this, we can now start causing some Bamanis trouble, so to speak, with a war against these guys, which I think is basically what we will be doing. The only problem then is, well, these guys then, there we go. The only problem is that they will drag in Vainagyar, and that could potentially screw me over, because who are they allied with? They're allied with, well, they're allied with a lot of people that I actually want to get, or screw over. So let's do a quick check here. How many men does Vainagyar actually have? They shouldn't actually have that many. I think we'll simply go for by name. They have 45,000. Wow. Ow, yes, that hurts. That hurts a lot. But what we will be doing then, we'll be taking these guys, the exile fellas. We'll be sending them to over here. We'll be fighting a war with, or using them in this case, and that should help me out a little bit here. Let's see. We'll take the reputation guy, I think. And other than that, not really that much we want to do here. Persia has a weak throne. What the hell? They have a regency though. Let's see whom else. Chagatai, the Timurids. No, Quarkonlu. Yes, potentially, but even so, it doesn't really matter right now. The Iraqi nationalists could potentially screw this plan of mine over, so I should potentially now send some guys over here because I do have a claim, and I could use that claim to my advantage. We'll have to fight Persia for a couple of provinces, but that should be just fine as well. So we'll see how this turns out in the end. But for now, I'll be focusing on probably a war against Ahmed Nagar, and we will probably just vassalize and annex. I think it should work out even with the negative malices, and that will allow me to get a larger part here of this area. I'm a little bit unsure though if anyone or my allied will join me. So we'll have to check once I get another diplomat back, which is now. So let's take a quick little check here. Well, we'll check it next time because I'm basically out of time here. But as you can see, we are doing pretty well. I just say we might be a little bit behind schedule, as most people at this point usually have the Ottomans in a personal union. I have no idea how they actually do that, if they just try and try, because, well, that's not really my style. If I am lucky, I am lucky, and if I have bad luck, I have bad luck. But even so, it's probably it would be a lot more viable to try and get the Ottomans in a union before 1-2, which changed it. So let's see how that turns out. While we're at that, do I actually have... No, I don't have any dynasty members on a throne that belongs to someone else. So let's see here. These guys, Champa, Oiratod, and Taibit. So yeah, potentially we could also go after, or we will go after Show pretty much next episode, I think. Goal then will be to isolate them from, or cut them in two. In terms of, we'll be taking, hopefully, these 4, 5 even. They actually have the capital over here, so we'll probably go for these 4 then. And isolate the capital and isolate these lands here, which should potentially mean that someone else will want to attack them. Or we could also go for simply the naval area to get Ming a little bit more wealthier, and thus I can actually just use their army to fight wars in the area. So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities, but we'll have to think about it until next time. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment, praise, criticism, anything you feel like, and I'll see you around next time. Bye.